little, it's a waste of time from the perfect start to the finish line. And if you're still breathing, you're the lucky ones. 'Cause most of us are heaving through corrupted lungs. We're setting fire to our insides for fun, collecting names of the lovers that went wrong, the lovers that went wrong. We are the reckless, we are the wild youth, creating visions of our future truth. And one of us will die before he gets there. And if you're still bleeding, you're the lucky ones. 'Cause most of us, our feelings, they are dead and they are gone. We're setting fire to our insides for fun, collecting names of the lovers that went wrong, the lovers that went wrong. And you caused it.
Hey everyone, welcome to another... I was just fading you in, so you just sort of jumped in with Enos!
That's all I said. I didn't say penis, I said Enos, because I just thought I'd mix it up a bit.
Hello everyone, yes, it's Kristi and Kevin. Welcome to the happy hour. What? Fox?
I said uck, so I was doing, it was like a cuck, but the beginning missed off again.
Right, you got caught.
Enos, following a shortened genitals joke thing.
What, like kraut?
If you can't work at my level, then alls to you.
Oh, kind of
balls, like balls.
I made a kraut reference there that you missed.
Did you? What was that?
About
split cock. Okay, yeah. What about his heavily tortured balls, though? You forgot those. Don't forget that, ladies. Don't forget the heavily tortured balls, please.
I had, and I'm not sure I'm grateful you brought them up. All right, so we just like the news. It just won't stop coming. I wish I could.
That's what she said. That's what she said.
And so I guess we've got to get covered in it or cover it, something like that.
The news just won't stop pulling out and coming on my belly.
So actually, why don't we start with Kevin? I'll put you here in the middle. I'll maybe even make you bigger.
I've got to say, it's unfortunate my beard's missed off because me and John Bolton have got one thing in common: awesome facial hair.
I'll just put you guys next to each other. How about that? He's not on your level though, so I'm going to put you a little bit.
No, he's not on my level, and I haven't fucked over quite as many democracies. But
correct.
But good facial hair.
All right. So,
also slightly reminds me of a racist version of the museum keeper from The Simpsons, if people remember that.
He just looks like a guy who, like trolls Santa jobs.
It's like if the KFC Colonel went fash.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Kentucky fastest chicken.
It's Zig Heiling good.
Right. So let's catch up with British politics a little bit first, because there was a speech. You did a stream on your channel all by yourself, because you can now. And you want to summarize that without quite all of the ranting? There was quite a lot of ranting.
Okay, well, do you want to give me an intro that isn't quite as disparaging and sarcastic? You did it all by yourself, Kev. Well done.
No, it was about your channel being
your
back.
Own ass.
It was
well
that your streaming powers are back. That's what we celebrated at the last one.
You tied your shoelaces together without killing yourself. Well done, Kev.
Here's a gold star. Go put it on the wall chart.
Yeah, smiley face. I get to sit in the big boy chair today.
And you get an extra story at bedtime.
I'm not going to bed. I'm never going to bed. Sleeping's for quitters. Anyway. So the Queen's speech happened. which is like the state opening of Parliament, and it's a complete joke because none of it's going to happen because there's going to be a general election soon, and then another Queen's speech after that because that's when they're supposed to happen anyway. So
can I ask a question about one of the policies, or did you want to continue?
Yes, you may.
Voter ID.
No, that's the basic deal. If you want to see slightly more detail, it's on my channel. So
it's about 25 minutes more of detail, and you really going at the monarchy.
Yeah, me ranting about austerity and golden thrones as a combination,
and powdered
as a national
wigs,
combination, and powdered wigs. Yes, yeah, it's ridiculous.
And begging leave.
Oh God! Oh, the humble address.
See, we're gonna get it anyway.
Oh, fucking hell!
I'm drawing them out now.
The humble address. They do a thing called the humble address, which basically means the Queen goes there and reads the speech that the government give them, and it's like their upcoming fucking legislative agenda for the following year. Even though, like I say, this government as it currently is isn't going to be there in like 10 weeks, let alone in a year. Anyway. So, and then the Parliament sends a grovelling letter of pathetic spinelessness in thanks to the Queen, which starts off with like, may we humbly thank the Queen for her gracious speech. Oh, you cunts. Fuck off, a lot of you.
Red rag to a bull, that is. Red rag to a bull.
Kristi, you don't know what you've done to me here. I was in a good mood, and now I want the world to burn.
It's just a little, yeah. Anyway. Getting back to...
It's just a little bit of history repeating, quite literally, because this happens every fucking year. Sorry, go on.
Yep, it's time for Uncle Kevin to have his breakdown, everybody. The Queen's speech is on.
Basically, yes. I mean, you say that like a joke, but that's basically correct. So anyway, you were going to ask me about something I don't fucking know anymore. Go on.
Oh, voter ID laws.
Yeah, they're going to try and introduce that, but like I say, all of this shit isn't really going to happen, right? All of the policies announced aren't going to happen in this Parliament because this Parliament has been dead for like 2 years now.
But then why
been properly fucking weekend at Burned, frankly. It's just it's been a corpse being carried around for the sake of it. Anyway. So it's not going to happen, right? There's going to be another thing. So basically, this was a glorified party election broadcast on behalf of the Conservative Party, but paid for by the taxpayer and read by the Queen. So all very, very undignified and, frankly, I would suggest possibly a little bit illegal. Anyway, so one of the things they wanted to introduce was this voter ID shit, which, like I say, won't happen in this Parliament. But even if it goes into the Conservative manifesto, it probably won't get through the Commons unless they get a massive majority, which seems very unlikely given the polling. They want to introduce you have to turn up with a photo of yourself thing, which is in the very same way that the GOP use it in America, is basically aimed at undermining the vote of largely poorer people, ethnic minorities, and of course trans people, because one thing I hadn't even noticed was that there are a lot of trans people who don't have necessarily photographic ID in their new guise, so to speak, in their new visage. And so they might not actually be able to vote at all in that case. So, yeah.
But the thing is...
it's all pretty shoddy behaviour, but even a lot of Conservatives are like, there's no point. There's literally no point. The number of voter fraud instances are fucking minuscule, even by comparison to the virtually none that happen in America. They're even smaller percentage here. So there's no point doing this, and it's frankly a little bit shoddy. So I can't see it getting through, which is good.
Right, which begs the question, why did they bring it up? And my opinion is that this is a dog whistle. This is a dog whistle to racists, that poor people and people of who are immigrants who don't have proper ID are voting and they shouldn't be voting. This is how they started the voter ID movement in the States as well. So it's not like it's going to be brought up and going to go away. This is going to be something like, if people respond to this in their base, then you might get more people sort of agitating and people trying to claim that this is a real issue when it's not in the United States either. And they'll make a whole, you need ID to buy alcohol. You need a license to drive, but you don't need a license. You don't need to show photo ID to vote.
Yeah.
And so this is, I think they're creeping fascism.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the thing. Economically, he's very, very basic bitch Tory. which puts paid to the idea that he's some fresh new idea. But in terms of pandering to racists, he's more overt than it once was. With Tories of the past have always tried to hide. Well, not always. There's obviously, if you want an N-word for a neighbour, vote Labour, which was a thing that was used by Conservative candidates in the 1960s and 70s. And by the way, when I said N-word, they didn't say N-word. They used the hard R, which, by the way, will come back up in a later discussion of racism in football. Anyway, so. But generally speaking, the kind of leadership of the government or opposition, Tory leadership, the national leadership, have tried to hide their racism much more cleverly, whereas Johnson's much more blatant about it. Because like one of the things that was overlooked in the crime, they want to be like again sort of appeal to the old school Tory voter by it's crime and justice, centric. Parts of the speech, right? So they want, and some of it's quite good, I think, actually, like the longer sentences for violent criminals, which again is fine, and one or two other things. But one of them is the Foreign Criminals Act, which is aimed directly at stoking up fear amongst racists, basically, because the law already allows us to completely ban foreign criminals when they've served their sentence here from ever coming back here. So this is literally just throwing a red rag to some racist bulls, basically. It's pandering to racists of the worst kind. And again, totally unnecessary. The law already allows for this.
Yeah, I think that one thing that you can do to counter this to photo ID, and it's also a simple kind of thing, is one, to make the point that lots of people wouldn't have the ID. Maybe they're turning 18 for the first time and they don't drive or whatever else. So if you did have a national ID presentation at the polls, one, it should be paid for by the taxpayers because there shouldn't be a poll tax and it's a government mandate. So anyone who wants an ID basically should be able to get one for free. So it's going to cost a ton of money. And two, you should then have basically sort of like the British version of same-day registration, which is if you turn up to the polls with an ID and your address, and they don't have you on the record or you lost your polling card, you could just show your ID and vote. That same day, no questions, because identification isn't an issue anymore. So anyone could just walk in there with their ID and vote.
Yeah, but like I say, I don't think it'll happen.
No, but anyway, it's, like I said, it's not about the now. It's about the long term. It's the planting the seeds. Because these were movements that started at the state level. And they started with ALEC, the basically conservative legislation mill, where they just churn out identical conservative ideological bills at a conference, and then the Republicans all come, collect the copies, and take them home and submit them. That's where that started. Yeah. Oh, it's definitely something we're going to have to look at. Yeah. So, seeing that we're still in the European area, do you want to continue now and cover the football thing? I don't really know the details, so I'm going to learn from you. Yeah.
Last night, the England football team played Bulgaria, in Sofia, the capital thereof. And the stadium was partially closed anyway because of previous racist bullshit that the Bulgarian fans had engaged in. So literally like a quarter of the stadium was just empty with ironically say no to racism signs put up by UEFA, which is the football governing body. And unsurprisingly, there was not just a little bit of racism, but overt monkey chanting when black players touch the ball.
What? And
a large group of people zig-heiling, Nazi saluting in the crowd. Thankfully, those by their hundreds were ejected from the stadium. Damn. But the game was stopped. The game was stopped twice on that basis.
Damn.
And it wasn't just. This is the thing. The Bulgarian coach claims he didn't hear it. If I heard it, how did he not hear it when he was in the stadium? It was like really loud. It wasn't just one or two people. We're talking about several thousand people who were engaging in this. Yeah, like I say, Nazi saluting, monkey chanting, booing whenever a black player touched the ball. Now, I don't mind if they were booing all of the players. Mm-hmm. That would be one thing, but they clearly weren't. They were clearly targeting specifically people like Rashford and Sterling and Tyrone Mings, and all of whom are black English players. And yeah, it was pretty disgusting. And it came to the point where on the UEFA protocol, it goes through a stage of things where there's a public announcement about it, and then the game stops for a bit, and so on and so forth. And they'd got to the point where if they had stopped again, that would have been the termination of the game.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and we're not talking about, this wasn't an exhibition game. This was a European Championship qualifier.
God.
So rather important. Yeah. And it got, like I say, it got to that final stage. Now, thankfully, they did stay on, and they did, the thing that's sort of best thing to do: go out there and beat them with your football. And they did. England won 6-0. 4 of the goals scored by black players, which is quite nice. And of course, Tyrone Mings, the centre half, England kept a clean sheet. So again, basically 2 fingers to the fascists.
Yeah. Which
is nice, but something's going to happen now, and everyone knows that. And I think this has been something of a watershed moment, because UEFA and FIFA, UEFA are the European governing body and FIFA are the world governing body, have been farcically lax when it comes to racism for a long, long time. Someone gave the analogy that Nicholas Bentner, the former Danish striker, was fined £100,000, which is about, what, 180,000 or 160,000 US dollars, for celebrating a goal at a World Cup by pulling his shorts down and revealing a bookmaker's logo on his pants, like he'd been paid to do that.
Yeah.
Which obviously there's nothing like inherently wrong with that. He didn't get his dick out or something.
Right.
But yeah, he was fined for that because they have official sponsors and stuff. Now that's one thing, but then when for overt racist chanting in the stadium, Bulgaria were fined £29,000.
What?
That shows you where their loyalties, where their priorities are. Fucking farcical.
Yeah.
So, but things have to change, and this is where, when people say sports and politics don't mix, you're talking shit.
Yeah.
Immediately the day afterward, which is obviously today because this happened last night, the Bulgarian Prime Minister came out and called for UEFA to take they believe the phrase he used was declare war on racists.
And nice.
Called for the immediate. Called for the head of the Bulgarian Football Union, which is obviously the Bulgarian governing body.
Wait.
Resign,
Let me guess. Oh,
which
I'm going to say to invade the White House.
No, to resign from his position, which he then subsequently did.
Wow.
So the Bulgarian government are like, this can't go on. This is making us look fucking really, really bad. Yeah. And it is.
Yeah,
and it's not, by the way, it's not a problem that's just in Bulgaria.
Right.
All across the West, even in England, there have been examples of this recently, unfortunately. Specifically in places like Italy. Italy has a rampant racism problem in football. So it's not just like an Eastern European problem, but it seems more overt. Because like I say, it wasn't just 1 or 2 people, it was thousands of people giving the Nazi salute. Forgetting, of course, that the Nazis killed millions of Bulgarians, or millions of Slavic peoples anyway, including Bulgarians. So just some of the scummiest people, but they were shown rather conclusively on the pitch that they were not necessarily the racially superior claims that they are. And of course now there have been calls for for Bulgaria to be disqualified completely, to be literally removed from the tournament at all. Not that they were going to qualify anyway, but that's not really the point. And to be honest, on this occasion, I think I'm with them on that. I think that's fair enough, because one example of that is bad, but this is repeated and multiple, and this is the only way anyone's going to learn.
I agree. If you don't take a bold stand,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Basically.
And that means, look, if England fans were doing this, and they said, well, let's kick England out, I'd have to agree as well.
Yeah. It's not a Bulgarian thing. It's a conduct thing.
As much as that would pain me to happen, if it helps stamp out racists from the game, good. Yeah. Because again, it's not just about football. This is 2 nations playing. The idea that politics doesn't get involved. They're 2 nations playing one another in a competitive tournament or in competitive qualifier. There's no fucking way that this would.
And
this is political.
What would it say to all the players of color if they don't do something? If they don't make a statement, if they don't repudiate it, what are you going to do? Put up more banners?
Well, that's the thing, They've got, literally they had the empty part of the stadium, which was a punishment for a previous racist thing. They had these, say no to racism, respect, #respect. Oh, fuck's sake. And if that's all you're going to do, that's nonsense. But yeah, there have been, racism in English football has a really dark and nasty history. It's not been eradicated, but we've done a lot.
By the way, Benjamin...
to show you... Yeah,
sorry.
go on, sorry.
Benjamin Esser in the chat says Bulgaria... Actually, Bulgaria was an ally of the Nazis. I don't know if
it was it General Horthy was their leader at the time, I believe, or have I got the wrong country there? That might have been Hungary. Anyway, but yeah, they killed a lot of people from Bulgaria.
Yes,
that's just true. That's true of all of the nations of Europe, outside of, I suppose, possibly Spain and Portugal, and I suppose Switzerland. Anyway, but any of those that were actively engaged lost lives at the hand of the Nazis. Anyway. The point being, where was it? Yeah, so racism and football. Within living memory, we're talking in the 1970s. My father was a big football fan, and he said some of the chanting was horrific. They used to sing at stadiums up and down England. Again, not in the ancient past, in the 1970s and 80s. There was one particular song which sticks in my mind, which was, and again, I'm going to sanitize it, but they didn't, and it was hard R. Was N-word, N-word, lick my boots. N-word, N-word, lick my boots. To black players. That was sung by people who were still alive today, voting in Britain today.
Wow.
Yeah. Bananas were regularly thrown at black players as well. Yeah.
So, yeah.
You have even Ron Atkinson, of course, famously was a football manager who, bizarrely, back in the 70s, was one of the people who started the introduction of black players into the league. He had 3 players when he was manager of West Bromwich Albion, and WBA, the racists, turned that into We Buy Africans, because that's what they do. Even though all of them were literally born in England. So he had quite an important role in introducing black players into the game. He had he was caught on camera during the late 90s or early 2000s. During what he thought was an advert break, describing Marcel Desailly, the then French international player who was black, as a thick, lazy N-word. And again, did not sanitize, hard R. And has subsequently been allowed back into commentating, albeit after a long time of being kind of persona non grata, understandably. So there's no point in claiming that England has this problem solved. But to see the ridiculous blatantness of it was pretty shocking, to be honest. I mean, that was really, really nasty. But like I say, it feels like this is a kind of watershed thing where something will be done about this now.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, hopefully so. But we'll wait and see.
Yep. Right. Well, do you want to stick with your themes, or because if we go to Trump, it's going to go into a rabbit hole? So,
well, if just one thing I did want to mention, but as we're still on Europe, was the Catalan thing. Spain became increasingly anti-democratic this week when yesterday they imprisoned the former leadership in Catalonia, which is a region. Technically a region of northern Spain, but they see themselves as sort of independent or whatever, and they want to be independent, and they held an unofficial referendum on independence, which overwhelmingly voted to leave, and they've been imprisoned for sedition.
Whoa. Oh, that's what the protests were about.
Yeah, they literally shut down Barcelona airport, and there were basically riots, ultimately, it's disgusting. The EU needs to step in and say to one of its member countries that this is not fucking acceptable. That kind of anti-democratic action will not be tolerated, and call for the immediate release of these guys, because this is just such an open and shut case of freedom of expression.
Yeah.
And ultimately it's going to be counterproductive, because they'll say they're hoping that this will crush the Catalan independence movement. The Catalan independence movement has never been as popular in Catalonia as it is now.
Yeah.
And will continue to be, because the feeling of anger about this, even from people who don't necessarily support never supported independence in the past now do, because they can see that the Spanish government doesn't give a fuck for the feelings of the people of Catalonia. It has no interest in its self-determination, which makes it undemocratic.
Yeah, I saw the protests, but I didn't realize what they were about. So thanks for that, too. I've been too busy trying to keep up with Trump world to know what's going on in my own backyard. Fine. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, technically Spain is between you and America, yeah, because you're one of these filthy immigrants taking other people's jobs, contributing economically to the life and culture of Germany. Disgraceful.
Yeah.
Anyways, so fuck you to the government of Spain, just immensely. But from one horrifically anti-democratic government to another.
Okay, well, you're Trump now. Oh, nope, that's Facebook. Okay, yeah, well, the Trump saga, oh my gosh.
Well, Facebook is pretty undemocratic as well, but I wouldn't call it a government as such.
No,
it has more money than lots of governments do, to be fair, but whatever.
Come on. I accidentally hit the tab with the Facebook thing. Yes. So, attention turns to Bolton after former aide told impeachment probe he fought Giuliano's shadow operation in Ukraine. Do you remember a couple happy hours ago when I mentioned about this ambassador who dropped the mention of the meeting or whatever, and Bolton lost his shit? Well, that's...
Yeah, well, I literally...
Yeah.
Didn't I called this, didn't I? I said, literally, when John Bolton is calling you out for being like a corrupt piece of shit who's overly interfering in other nations' business, you have not just jumped a shark. You've become like the fucking evil Knievel of shark jumping.
Yeah. Well, it's just, so what's amazing to me as this unfolds. So I think impeachment might be slowed down perhaps by a couple weeks because all of this is coming out now. And I thought that this was a short story. I thought this was like, like a Stephen King short story. But what we're learning now is that actually it's more like, it's not quite it. Maybe Pet Sematary. There's like other stuff in here. And all of it is backstory to the actual crime where Trump asked on a phone call for Ukraine to start, restart an investigation.
I kind of feel like misery is a more appropriate one.
Okay, I think there you go.
Trump's the Kathy Bates, and America is in the bed with broken legs until it gives Daddy what it wants.
Yes.
Basically, it's I think an appropriate
It's more like it. Okay, there you go.
If you haven't seen that film, that makes no sense, but trust me, it works.
Or read the book.
I haven't read the fucking book.
I read the book.
I'd be honest.
I'm a King fan, though.
I don't think I've read a single Stephen King novel.
I've read almost everything he's written. I've definitely read more than 20 books by him. Definitely.
Well, I think you've read 20 more books than Americans in general have.
All right. So what I thought was, Giuliani and Trump and a pretty tight operation. No, like tons of people knew this shit was going on. And that's what's coming out now. Is what Congress is getting is like, in the beginning of a TV show where they give you like, the little teaser and then they take you back like 2 months ago or something. That's what this is. Like the phone call.
Previously on America.
Yes. Where Trump makes a phone call and now we get all the backstory. So, and these are not.
I can't wait for the twist at the end where we wake up and realize it was all a dream.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
That would be good. And actually, Barack Obama's handing over the reins to anyone else.
Literally anyone else.
Literally anyone. Satan. And you go, well, this can't be as bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's savvy at least. And he's into sex.
Exactly. And he looks less weird, even though he's got horse legs and horns. He looks less strange.
All right. So, yes, I'm just going to read because it's more efficient than trying to explain.
Sorry, not horse legs. That wouldn't make any sense. He's got goat legs.
Kevin just yelling out goat legs. # goat legs.
Goat legs.
All right.
Well, if we're not going to get our mammalian legs sorted properly, what's the fucking point?
It would just bug you all night. Yeah. All right.
By the way, whilst we're on it, a completely separate thing. I'm just going to interject here because I'm on a roll. Again, another Kenyan broke another marathon record.
What?
This time the Womsy one.
Really?
Smashed the shit out by nearly a minute and a half. Which, look, Kenya, yeah, we get it. You're fucking good at running marathons very quick, but cut it the fuck out. You're making us all look shit. Which, to be fair, we mostly are, but that's not the point.
No kidding. Wow. Just run.
Pretty good. They're
Damn.
pretty good. Yeah. But anyway, so the whites are racially superior, clearly. Yeah.
Right.
So I just want to rub it into some Bulgarian Nazis.
Right. That's okay.
They definitely are, because some of those people looked, let's say, chromosomally challenged at best.
I know. Yeah, they couldn't do a marathon in a week.
No, these black guys are fucking amazing, and black woms. The black woms, they're good as well. Yeah, so fuck the Nazis. They've never been more wrong.
Yes. Okay. Getting back to the drama in the White House. Well, yeah.
Previously on the United States.
Previously on America. Right. The House impeachment inquiry is turning attention, and just like imagine eyes casting over, toward former National Security Advisor John Bolton after a former top aide delivered explosive testimony Monday describing how he was infuriated by a shadow operation being conducted by the president's allies and his lawyer in Ukraine to dig up dirt on the president's political rivals.
Oh, God. Imagine that. Jesus, when John Bolton is the good guy in the room.
Yeah.
When someone as scummy as John Bolton is like, come on, guys, this is too far. I mean, literally, Satan is less shit than you. Like, what the fuck? What is it?
I want to see Lindsey Graham go after John Bolton for testifying.
I want to see Lindsey Graham call John Bolton a cuck.
Yeah. Do it, Lindsey.
That would be amazing. That would be the perfect distillation of what the right has become.
Yes. Let them fight.
Fuck it, I say we get them all together and let them go Thunderdome on each other.
Yeah,
I'm fine. Go for it, lads.
I've been watching Glow lately. I've been catching like some.
Don't know
wrestling.
what that is.
That's the Glamorous Ladies of Wrestling series on Netflix.
That sounds appalling.
No, it's quite interesting. I would recommend the first. And it's also sports. It's sports.
Well, no, it definitely isn't.
It's athletics.
But
it's athletics.
It's theatre.
It's athletics theatre.
You know earlier when I was joking about you being white trash?
Yeah.
That's getting more and more difficult to pretend that's still a joke.
It's quite feminist. You should check it out. By the way.
What? Are you suggesting you can't be white trash and feminist?
Well, I'm just saying that the show, the characterization is that it sort of would. Well, yeah, I guess you could be a white trash feminist. Yeah, but the show itself, I think you're playing to stereotypes. So, also, is his name Mark Maron?
Sorry, you get. There's a big crossover between the classical music and the fucking WWE fans.
No,
definitely.
Well, okay, we're gonna have to I'm gonna send you a.
Why are you answering as if any of this is serious?
I'm I'm distracted.
Yeah, actually, Kristi, you are scum. No, what the?
Here we go.
Glow.
Imd. Yep. Glamorous Ladies of Wrestling. Really great performances all the way around. It's basically a cast of all women and one guy. But the guy who has the one really big male role has a great role. Yeah.
Are you
Mark
saying
Maron.
there's a large male part in this?
Yeah. I don't know about his male part. I'm just saying that when he's got the best lines, like the same way Han Solo had the best lines, sometimes he gets the best
So
lines.
hang on, is it a real... So is it a real thing or is it an acting thing?
It's a show about people who, well, I'll read you the little summary. So it's not a real wrestling show.
I'm trying to work... Oh, okay, because when you said Glamorous Ladies, I thought that was like, it's a documentary type thing where they follow some independent wrestling ladies or something. Yeah. But no, apparently not.
Well, it's basically the plot line is it's an actress who is struggling to get work, and there's a casting call for this TV show that they're going to do, the Glamorous Ladies of Wrestling. And she gets cut. She makes the cut, and the story is really about the women in that group and what brought them there and things like that. So, yeah. Boop,
Okay.
boop, boop, boop. Okay, so getting back to the explosive.
Diarrhea.
Really buried the lead here on this story. All right, Fiona Hill, who was the National Security Council's top Russia and Europe advisor under Bolton, told investigators that Bolton... Oh, by the way, she's not like a Bolton person. She served multiple presidents. She's been held over, carried over from administration to administration. Told investigators that Bolton likened President Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, a driving force behind the effort, to a hand grenade, according to two people familiar with her testimony. Hill also testified that Bolton wanted to make clear he was not involved and very opposed to what he described as the drug deal between the White House's acting chief of staff, Mike Mulvaney, and U.S. Ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland, who were also involved in the effort, the people said.
So hang on. I love the mixed metaphor here because now we've got a hand grenade doing a drug deal.
Yes.
Which is like a fucking trippy thing. That's like some fucking weird Mighty Boosh bit or something.
Yeah. I would love to see the Mighty Boosh do some sort of interpretation of all this.
I don't think they need to. I don't think that. I really don't think they need to.
It doesn't add any more absurdity.
It's done. Yeah. People will be like, well, is this a documentary? I don't know. This is weird.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting to some of the juicy stuff now. Although the drug deal between Mulvaney and Sondland, that just made me laugh. But okay.
Well, yeah, but I can't help but feel that isn't one of the parties supposed to feel really good after a drug deal?
Well,
I can't help but feel that none of them do.
Well, not if you're just moving the drugs. Like if you're just picking them up to take to someplace to have them handed out.
Oh, okay. So this is not so right. None of them are doing the final mile delivery.
No, they're just doing
We're going to use a mail metaphor because that's what the kids do. Paper mail.
They're upper management in the drug analogy here. Yeah.
Well, it's good. Well, I'm glad to see that they've made it to middle management. That's good.
Yes. Right. According to one person familiar with Hill's testimony, Bolton was so alarmed by the efforts of Giuliani, Sondland, and Mulvaney to circumvent the NSC and diplomatic corps that he dispatched her to raise the concern with White House lawyers. This was in July.
Bless him, Giuliani. Bless him, by which I mean, go fuck yourself. But why does he not? He's going to White House lawyers. Does he not think it was the White House that sent him?
Well, I think what they wanted is not to get Trump's political attorneys, but maybe more staff attorneys.
True, but what?
To get on the record
about
this.
Okay, so he's covering his own arse.
Yeah.
So he can say, yeah, I knew about it, but I went to the White House lawyers.
Yeah.
So I can't be done for it. And then he can watch from the shore as the ship sinks.
Well, he can't stop Trump. I think that's why he quit or was resigned. I think this is basically when shortly before he left. This might have been part of it. Yeah. Or the main thing. All right, the order.
Problem.
Yeah. The order came after then Special Envoy for Ukraine, Kurt Volker, Bolton, Sondland, Hill, and Energy Secretary Rick Perry met in early July to talk about how Sargon likes to masturbate with horse manure.
Yeah, I was about to say, have you heard what Rick Perry's been saying?
About Sargon? He said it in that meeting. Yeah. That's where I first heard it.
Well, I mean, I can't wait to get the actual transcript, but from the memorized version of the conversation, he was definitely talking about him masturbating with horse shit.
I know. That's where it all started, man. That's where we
I mean, technically, it's not a quid pro quo for the horse shit, but, I mean, it's pretty obvious what's going on there.
I just keep picturing the people who are dumping out the manure in front of him now.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to remember his face, but of course now I see a smile on it.
I see more of a kind of angry grunting. I think in my mind he's closer to the end than he is in yours.
Angry grunting.
Yeah, like he's building up. He's building up to a strong finish.
Stop.
Let's just put it that way.
Stop.
No, you don't stop at that point. You've got to carry on, otherwise your
no.
momentum's gone, and you have to start all over again. It's a nightmare.
Or an extra minute.
Well, it's an extra minute, but in that minute, that horse manure is going to cool significantly.
Okay.
That's
all
what
right.
that's what I heard Perry saying anyway. I mean,
That's what.
I
Yeah.
can't.
You remember. That's what you remembered. You memorized the transcripts.
Yeah, I
That's
was
what you
reading
said.
from direct. That's a direct quote
Yeah.
from Rick Perry. Oh, I so nearly got to the end of that sentence. So nearly.
All right.
That incredibly libelous sentence.
Okay, so also,
Anyway.
can I set up this next line by saying Sondland was initially going to testify before the House, and then he said he wasn't. They exerted executive privilege. And then he went away for a day, and Yovanovich testified, and then he went, "Oh, actually, I will testify. Can you subpoena me?" He didn't ask for the subpoena, but...
Yeah, to be fair, they subpoenaed him. Now, even then, they could have potentially fought it and gone to court and all the rest of it. But they just went, actually, yeah, let's... It's because he's still on Trump's side.
No,
apparently.
no, that's changed. See, I've been keeping up with the minutia of this.
Oh, okay.
So sources started to leak out saying okay, if you don't know who Sondland is, he was the guy in the text messages with the guy who said, I'm telling the audience, not you.
Oh, sorry, I was about to say, no, I was just going to say, just to point out, he said that Trump wasn't fit for office. Then when Trump got elected, gave him £1 million for his inauguration fund and was made the ambassador to the European Union because Trump doesn't do, pay to play. He's going to drain the swamp.
Yes, yeah. He's so above board with his shadow government that he's running.
Yep.
I just think of the Muppets. Yep.
He's not half bad. He's all bad.
Right. Sondland is the other side of the text message with the guy who is actually a professional ambassador who is saying, as I said in our phone call, I think it's crazy that we're holding up military aid to help the president.
Yeah,
and Sondland was a guy.
There's no quid pro quo, honest.
Right?
There's not.
Ring
me. I want this off the record, you cunt.
Right?
He doesn't say that, but that's the underlying tone of what's going on in that conversation.
What was circulating in the media is that I think he might be testifying tomorrow. Is that he is going to tell Congress that in the time of this, like 4 or 5 hours before he replied, he called the White House, he talked to the president. The president was the one who said there was no quid pro quo, that he, Sondland, did not know anything about the deal, and therefore took the president at face value and wrote basically back to the ambassador what Trump had told him. Right? Remember that now.
Oh.
Okay?
Well, he's really dumb then. Why would you, especially those who know Trump, why would you ever take anything he ever says at face value?
I'm just telling you what the media said he was going to say to Congress. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine, but it's just nonsense. It's not believable, frankly.
Okay, so
because everyone would know he's corrupt as shit and would say, okay, well, I'm going to take that with a massive pinch of salt and act accordingly.
Yeah. So I needed to set up all of that detailed backstory in order to then read out this line, because this was the meeting. During the meeting with Bolton, Sondland blurted out to the other officials present that were there that there were, quote, investigations that were dropped that needed to be started up again, unquote, in Ukraine, according to a U.S. official familiar with the matter. Wait a minute. You said the investigations, you didn't know about any quid pro quo, and here you are saying that he's got to have a meeting?
Yeah. There are a lot of people who know they done fucked up and are desperately trying to save their own arse.
Yep.
Which is fun.
Yeah. The article goes on. The officials understood him to be referring to Burisma, a Ukrainian energy company, and former Vice President Joe Biden's son, Hunter Biden, who sat on the board. Bolton went, quote unquote, ballistic after the meeting, the official said. Hill herself got
Which is ironic because he likes to missile foreign countries. So that's ironic that he went ballistic.
Yeah, I see what you did there with that turn of phrase. Yep.
Yeah.
Hill herself got into a confrontation with Sondland over his involvement in Ukrainian affairs, according to one person familiar with her testimony, as Ukraine is
why would you
not in the EU.
But no, why would you fight with her? Because surely that's not a hill you want to die on.
You were waiting for that pun. That's what you were breaking in to do. Got it. Okay.
Sorry, go on. Ukraine's not in the European Union.
No, and thus not part of his ambassadorial portfolio. Sondland said he had been.
He's got no reason to be there really at all.
Yeah, Sondland said he had been put in charge by Trump. The person said something Hill likened to the bravado of when Alexander Haig, the then Secretary of State, said he was in charge after a 1981 assassination attempt on President Ronald Reagan. Sondland, who obeyed the State Department orders to not show up for a planned deposition last week, is expected to testify in the House impeachment inquiry Thursday under subpoena. Text messages provided to the panel by Volker showed it was Sondland who defended the president in early September when other diplomats expressed concern that the U.S. military assistance was being withheld from Ukraine to push Ukrainian leaders to conduct a politically motivated investigation of Burisma. Sorry, I can't say that. Yada 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 yada.
Also, can we just point out as well the idea that Trump wants an investigation into Burisma when he's literally said it's corrupt as hell? That you don't want an investigation, you've come to your conclusion.
Yeah.
So the idea that he's actually like usually they'd be like, well, I just want to see an investigation. I want to see, what happened. I want to get to the truth of the matter. He's saying, no, he's corrupt.
Yeah, well, this is it. I mean, his whole aim...
There's no point in having an investigation then, fuck's sake.
His whole aim was for Ukraine to reopen the Burisma investigation and then him be able to point with clean hands.
Deliverables,
yes.
I believe.
And then he, from across the ocean, could point with a clean hand to an investigation, whether or not there was ever anything to do with, anything wrong. It didn't matter, just the investigation he would use. It was enough for him. But he got busted.
And not just that, but if this is the kind of shit he's prepared to do in conversations that he knows lots of other people have access to.
And this is it.
Like lots of other people are on the line. Do you know when he went into that meeting with Putin on his own? What the fuck would he have done there? I would not be surprised to learn he actually sucked his dick. Like what?
Metaphorically.
And that's without even getting in. That's without even getting into the fucking Syria stuff.
Oh
man, he's so shit.
Yeah. Do you now see that they're going to support sanctions against Turkey for doing this week what he said last week they could do?
Yeah, for doing the thing he announced in that initial thing that they were going to do, and at no point said, don't do this.
Yep.
Basically giving tacit approval to them doing the thing.
He was the one who brought the troops out that were holding them back. You think that if they would have crossed that line without Trump pulling them back first? Are you kidding me? They were going to, attack a NATO ally to get to the Kurds? They couldn't have done this without him.
Attack a country that will definitely fight the fuck back.
Well,
that would have been a war. That's why when they say, it was only 100 men or whatever. Yeah, but the point is they're not going to shell American soldiers. For obvious fucking reasons.
Yeah, well, the other thing is that the Kurds have now gone to the Syrians and to Assad and the Russians. So Putin's expanded his power in the Middle East. Because literally Trump cut and run.
And now we've got a NATO ally in the pocket of Russia. Brilliant. That can't end really, really badly for everyone.
Oh, and by the way, Erdogan is still invited to a state visit next month.
Well, yeah, because he's a dictator. Why would he ever be banned by Trump? If he was like some sort of democratic leader, he'd probably go, actually, I'm not going to bother. I'm busy golfing.
Yeah. So, and then, Trump's whining, but we know that. So that's the latest juicy bits in the impeachment.
Oh, breaking. A lovely bit of breaking news. Trump administration issues plan to lift limits on logging in the largest intact temperate rainforest in North America. Yay.
Because fuck the species.
Yep. He really is. Trump is the last cry of the boomer. The screaming last cry of the boomer generation. Desperately trying to exact the last fuckery on this planet.
I don't know why people don't see that he's basically the Christian Antichrist. He's a false prophet. He's doing all the stuff that the Antichrist would do, But Christians are adoring him, which actually proves he's the Antichrist. Wait a minute, I'm an atheist.
I can't help feel that Jesus needs to really step in, to be honest.
Well, it would be nice.
I'm an atheist as well.
Yeah. All right, so anything else on Trump here, or should we go to the Facebook stuff you had?
No, I think we're basically done there.
Yeah.
We mentioned Syria. We gave him a throwaway line. That'll do. That's a joke, by the way, people.
Okay.
A joke at our expense. by the way. So, yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
this was a thing. So
I guess you have to see the
bits.
this
Yeah,
one
the first
first.
one would help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I put him in. That was the order you sent him in. So, okay. Anyway.
Was it? Oh, okay. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, the hashtag Fire Piers has been trending in Britain today, which is nice. Piers Morgan went on a transphobic rant on the television on a thing called Good Morning Britain, which is like ITV, which is the largest of the corporate, therefore non-BBC broadcasters. It's their morning show, so you know, a big platform. It's featured twice on this channel. Once when Ash Sarkar called him an idiot, which was nice, and tore him apart. And secondly, when the clip of Nigel Farage calling rape big guy scum or whatever the fuck it was, that was from that show as well. Vile, that was the word he used. Said it was vile. That was from Good Morning Britain as well. So it's a thing that if you're a regular viewer, you will have seen at some point. Yes. So Good Morning Britain decided to do like a poll, thinking, I presume, that they were going to see their viewers would be cool with it.
Oh, they don't know Twitter.
There are calls for Piers Morgan to be fired over his views on gender. Should he stay or should he go? 59% said go. And that's from nearly 500,000 fucking votes. So, I mean, that's substantial. That's not a small sample size at that point.
Well, it's a Twitter sample, so it's only people who responded. But it just shows you that Twitter is not your friend if you're a transphobe.
No. So, yeah, and then underneath that, H-Bomber guy slapping down a fool in the next image. The person says, no minority has the right to shut down the right of free... Well, it says free speech, but I presume they mean free. Yeah. And H-Bomber guy steps in, I'm being silenced because I've never been given a job on Good Morning Britain.
Yeah.
Which is true. I mean, I don't know about you. I've been silenced the entire existence of Good Morning
My
Britain.
entire
they've
existence.
They've not even offered me an apprenticeship or anything. Terrible. Some people
your free
like Red
speech
Lake are idiots.
Yeah. Your free speeches. Your poor free speeches. Okay.
Indeed. And it's the will of the people. He keeps saying this about Brexit. It's the will of the people. Well, the people have spoken, Piers. You need to go.
Yeah. Piss off. Off you fuck. Go on.
Yeah, more people voted on that Twitter poll for you to be sacked than voted for Boris Johnson to be Prime Minister. So, just saying.
Yeah, by over 1 million. By over 1.5 million. Really, if you think about it. All right. Nobody.
1.5 million. What are you talking about?
That was the number of people that voted in the poll, right?
No, 500,000.
Oh, I thought it was 1.5. Sorry.
I don't know. Anyway, so yeah. Well, whilst we're on British news as well, also today Margaret Thatcher would have turned 94, but she didn't because thankfully she's dead. So, yay.
Okay, there you go. A little bit of Labour hate for Thatcher.
Just put, yeah, exactly. You didn't want to get monetized ever again, did you? It's fine.
So yeah, this is our government tax dollars at work. The U.S. Department of State. And Mike Pompeo, who is a scumbag, lying, treasonous, sort of shadow government running lackey of the closest thing we've ever had to a king.
Well, no, technically America's had a king in the past. But since being an independent country, yes, I accept.
Well, America as a continent, but not America as a government.
As an independent nation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
But I'm just saying, if you wanted one again, we're here.
You've got one to loan
just
out.
Say, it's an option. If you want to come back into the warm embrace of Mother England, stand prepared to accept your gracious apologies for your treasonous crimes of the past. Boston Tea Party has not been forgotten. We will need reparations for that evil.
Yeah, I'll just give you some PG tips.
Of a gigantic cup of tea.
Yes, you can all swim in it.
The size of a harbour.
All right. So you like this picture on the screen?
Yeah. I saw this and I thought I had to get Kristi to bookmark this one because this is delicious.
Oh, yum yum. Yes, I do accept.
Drink this sentence in, people.
Here we go.
Milo Yiannopoulos has reportedly sold his website after saying he's struggling to put food on the table.
Stop being poor, Milo.
Yeah, exactly. He used to sell shirts that said "Stop being poor." So
Oh.
again, just turn it back on him, Milo. Stop being poor.
God, that
What's
shirt,
wrong with you?
That didn't age well.
No.
All right, the website dangerous.com now bears a message which says, quote, dangerous.com has been sold and is no longer associated with its previous owner, full stop.
Who would bother buying it though?
I don't know. He's not
Who
commented on the
needs that
sale.
website? Is there a company called Dangerous who are like, yeah, we need to buy this and just kill the fucking thing? It needs to not happen anymore.
So what they really do is they tie his sale to comments he made on the Telegram that actually we covered here on the Happy Hour. I think
we did, yeah.
And so then it's about how he's not getting posts and there's no point being here and the people don't buy my books, and so that's
microscopic following.
Yeah.
Which shows you that no platforming definitely doesn't work.
Yeah.
We need to make sure we keep. Oh no, the opposite of that is true. Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So they kind of use the recent sale to.
Oh, gee, Whistler in the chat. That's delicious. Dangerous.com.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Very nice. Oh my gosh, has it been top chat the whole time? I always try to put it on live chat, but I think when it opens up, it defaults to top chat. Sorry.
Oh, Kristi, we can't put up with this kind of boomery technology nonsense. Okay?
I'm just scrolling in case we missed any super chats.
I need to host from now on because you can't be trusted to do anything right. Clearly, it just goes to show you women can't be trusted.
I don't think you put the chat up when you stream from your channel.
Not on the screen.
No,
because then people will like be seen. I don't want my audience to be seen or heard. To be honest,
keep them at an arm's length. Just
a bit more than an arm's length because I might be able to smell them from an arm's length. So just over there in the corner, quietly.
That's how he loves you guys.
I'm joking. Actually, no, I put a call for I might as well plug my share. Cat-based e-begging because fucking vet bills are a motherfucker. So I put out a call for that yesterday, and the response was overwhelming. Thank you, everybody. That was amazing.
I didn't make it that far in the video because it was late at night, so I cashed out halfway through.
Oh well, thanks for the support, Kristi.
I have supported you. I'm like a really old jockstrap that's worn and not really clinking anymore. I support you like that. Like I'm there. Technically, I've done them.
Okay, but you're essentially what you're saying is you're copping my balls,
but only loosely.
Okay. Balls. Anyway, but yeah, so yeah, basically, why don't you just come out and say, Kristi, can't you sum this up all in under 5 minutes?
About your cat?
No, about the video. You're not watching the whole video.
Well, it was your Queen's speech stuff. That's how I knew how it was a red flag to a red rag to a bull. Yeah,
but you didn't watch the whole thing, which is outrageous because I always watch every single one of your videos from start to finish. Okay,
no,
every one.
He doesn't. He said,
including the 3-hour ones where you're doing like nerdy shit that definitely interests me in an enormous way.
You're a liar.
Oh, by the way, what makes this episode so special is that it's being sponsored by the man tears of a milky gimp, which is delicious.
Oh yeah, I was gonna talk to V tonight, and I canceled because Kevin wanted to do something. Well, you're more important to me than V.
Yeah. What are you going to talk to V about?
I told him we wanted to stick to one topic and no galloping gish, and he picked Greta Thunberg. So I was just gonna make fun of their obsession with her. It wasn't gonna be hard. And then I wanted to talk to him about Trump because he hadn't been following it, and I have. And there's some actual genuine shit there to talk about. Shadow governments.
So hang on. So you were going to actually be on his channel?
I think so. Yeah. That's usually how you do it.
Well, yes, indeed. I can't help but feel that I've sort of stopped what could be good exposure for you to do this.
Oh no, he's
but
like,
anyway.
I just said, can we move the thing? And I had something come up, and he went, yeah, whatever, I don't care. And he just wants me to have a chat. V just wants to chat. Like he wants to talk to people. I think he's kind of lonely. Sargon's hanging out with Alex Jones or no, exactly. I don't really know.
Daddy Sargon's left him.
Yeah.
Like a dog tied to a lamppost in the rain. He doesn't know if Daddy's ever coming back, and he's getting hungry.
So I'll go see if I can plant some seeds of reason and actual facts in his brain or his audience.
Don't die.
He'll probably get. You're just going with his fantasy, huh?
Yeah, it's happening. I'm not even crying. Sure.
Kevin, put it away. Just leave your.
No. No. I'm not entirely sure, given my boxes are this tight, that that's possible at this stage.
All right. So should we piss on someone else?
Yeah.
Hey, Tim Pool's a piece of shit.
Tim Pool is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, if it's a scene from a film, it's okay for people to sort of play videos of the Trump killing journalists and stuff.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's just super awesome.
And for context, this wasn't something that like circulated on, the Twitter and people just saw it. This was like played at some. Oh yeah, here we go. This video depicting a macabre scene of a fake President Trump shooting, stabbing, and assaulting members of the news media, his political opponents, was shown at a conference for his supporters at his Miami resort. Okay?
Yeah.
This was basically signed off for by the President of the United States, not some rando on Twitter. And what Tim writes is, it's a scene from Kingsman. It's a meme video. It was inappropriate. Calm down. There's really a huge divide between those raised on the internet and those who weren't. And, I had actually 2 points to this. One was, imagine if this had been Antifa shooting fucking Klansmen up or Nazis up, right?
Yeah.
And he's trying to normalize this fascism, this completely inappropriate association by the president with the President of the United States office with muted criticism, and it's just a bad joke as his defense. Seriously?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then my other point was the problem isn't that people are too upset about this. The fact is that Tim is desensitized because he lives in an alt-right world where this kind of menace and dehumanization is just constant. He's the freak here.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's the freak.
And not just, well, exactly, yeah, but not just that, but he sort of criticizes himself here because he says it was inappropriate, and there's a difference between those raised on the internet and those who weren't. So you're criticizing yourself there for saying it's inappropriate, because clearly you don't think it was inappropriate.
Yeah.
So what? You're the pearl clutching snowflake, or like what's? Or are you saying you weren't raised on the internet? Because that's not true either.
Yeah, and the thing is that this Trump has had his supporters send pipe bombs or attempted pipe bombs to people. We know that he is cited in the manifestos of mass shooters and inspired by them, and they listen to him and they quote him, even if they don't think he goes far enough or whatever. They're still influenced by him. So this is just unacceptable in a place that's supposed to be a peaceful transition from government to government. It's just unacceptable.
In theory,
if you're normalizing it, you're basically normalizing fascism.
Yeah.
So Tim Pool, piece of shit still.
Yeah, fuck you, Tim Pool.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, and then this was I bookmarked this for my Greta Thunberg talk because it had some really good stuff in there that I wanted to know if he knew. So you can see I did my prep for the.
Of course he didn't fucking know.
Well, of course that's why I was going to read it out.
Little Swedish girl bad.
Yeah, which is just hilarious. I was also going to ask him to play that video about the Greta Thunberg hotline.
Yes, that is good. Well, ask him about Daddy Sargon's claim that she works for Soros as well.
Oh God!
Why he's still not provided any evidence for that in the slightest.
All right, I will bring that up. So I'm glad we talked beforehand. Maybe V's getting his. We should take notes about shit I'm going to ask him. He can go read that article if he wants. All right.
That's assuming he can write, Kristi, please.
So this is from Haley Jackson, who's got a show on MSNBC. I asked some representative before he walked into Fiona.
Do you watch MSNBC? Really? Yeah, I don't think you've ever mentioned that before.
I'm just giving her this. To Fiona Hill's deposition about the accounts they've been hearing from aides behind closed doors on Ukraine. Quote, essentially everyone is telling us the same thing, which is that the phone call was just the tip of the iceberg on July 25th.
It doesn't surprise me. If it came out tomorrow that he literally said, Well, I was going to say if Trump said quid pro quo, but that would be assuming he knew what that phrase meant before all of this happened. Yeah, if he literally just came out, he wrote a thing where he said, "I definitely want you to do this very illegal thing."
Yes, yeah. Unless
like it wouldn't. Yeah, you get the missiles when I get exactly what I want. I know this to be illegal. Never mind. Like, you know what I mean? None of that would surprise me. It'd be written in crayon, obviously, with like some backward E's probably, or a T that's out of place or something. But...
I'm just thinking of that. I has hamburgers. Like I did crimes. I did
exactly.
crimes. Yeah. Right.
Why investigate political opponent?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
Old school memery.
All right. So this is from Matt Rogers. I don't know where he works at. He works at Politidope.
Not just that, but that's a rather big claim about Matt that he Rogers. Oh.
This is a visualization of the Electoral College majority in favor of impeaching Trump by state. So you can see the whole thing. It's currently at what I don't know. 235.
What's grey? What's the grey?
That would be a Republican or anti-impeachment. So these are all the
Republican 0 then.
I don't know.
Okay. Okay.
So I think what it is, all of the states in blue are the ones that have a majority of the population of the state that currently support impeachment, or at least the inquiry. What did he say? Impeachment. Full out impeachment. The average now in a poll of over 500 polls or something
why are they asking people from Poland?
Was it's at 50.3% in favor of impeachment and like 46% against.
Okay.
So it's even though it's just over 50%, there's also that don't know that you have to take out, and that's a really small number of don't knows as well. If you really add those numbers up.
Yeah, who at this point doesn't know?
Yeah, well,
look, it's been the only thing in the American news, and Syria, but that's sort of connected in its own way. Yeah. It's been the only thing in the American news for the last fucking 2 weeks or something.
One would think, but some people, yeah. Well, I mean, I also learned watching the news last week that there's some place where there's a large Syrian Christian community, and they were kind of pro-Trump before, and now they were interviewing him because they said, they were getting reactions and they were upset or whatever. But the reporter said that a lot of them, though, they're not like traditionally Democrat or Republican, because a lot of the people she said that she talked to, when she asked who would you have voted for if not Trump, said Bernie Sanders, because he's also kind of like, I don't know. So I was like, oh, okay.
Well, there's like an anti-imperialism thing, which, Trump doesn't actually follow through with.
Correct.
But he has good rhetoric.
Correct.
So if you just listen to the rhetoric, it sounds like, oh, they're going to stop America like bombing brown people. Okay, cool. Like, I get why they would support either of those candidates.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's it. Like, who are these people who are going to vote Trump and then Sanders? Like, oh, the Syrian Christian community, because they don't know, they don't operate on an American left-right spectrum. That's not.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like, they've got very specific.
Yeah.
I was going to say specific needs, which is sort of true, but not really the point. They've got specific kind of demographic interests.
Correct.
That might not necessarily exist in literally any other group of people.
Yeah.
Because, they're in a very specific, weird situation. Yeah.
Right. Like the one, we had a guy, only one in a focus group that I remember distinctly anyway, who said he has two parties that he would vote for were the Greens or UKIP. And, and if you could just picture me, like, yeah, and this is what we asked. Why? He said, well, because they're the only two parties that are dealing directly with the issues I really care about, which are like population growth and movement of people.
Okay, but that's...
I know, but like for me, like my head cocks to the side. Like I can do this in the group, obviously, but when I think about it, like my head cocks to the side like a puppy that's confused, and I get like a twitch in my eye. Like,
it doesn't make any sense. They're both completely like
I know
opposites one another. That's really strange.
Yeah. So there was some interesting, diving into demographics in the Democratic primary, and I thought that this would be a good thing to circulate in left Twitter, because there are a lot of people who like to shit on Biden fans. And although I agree Biden is a great candidate, I think that going after the people who support him is a mistake, because those are the people you're going to need to run over to the whatever candidate you want besides Biden. So I think we have to, if especially left Twitter operates in a kind of elite, I mean, in terms of discourse and stuff, it takes a pretty high level of information to operate. Most average people don't spend a lot of time in the kind of conversations that we have on Twitter. So I think we should, as people on the left, ask ourselves, with black voters, 61 of them say, okay, so this is regardless of how you intend to vote in the primary, which candidate do you think has the best chance of winning against Donald Trump in 2020? And among black voters, 61% said Biden. The next highest category was don't know at 17%. Then Warren at 14%, Sanders at 6%, Buttigieg at 2%, and everyone else at 0%. So if this is
I get that from the perspective of the fact that he was vice president to, the black president. That would make sense to a degree, but 61%, I think, is too much even for that factor to be its own thing, if that makes sense. Okay, there's clearly something else going on there. He is speaking to them on some level.
Yeah, and I think that what we should remember...
And I don't know why has he actually said during this that would speak to them? I don't know, but it clearly is, whatever that is.
I'm just saying that with the other candidates, there's a lot of work to be done. In terms of, so I think that people should maybe reconsider, I'm just saying, I'm putting that out there. Because I think it's important that we get a lot of solid support behind our nominee.
Yeah, there's the CNN debate things happening tonight.
Yeah, that's true.
But there's still how are there still 12 people? When you're running constantly at 1%, stop.
I know. I think it's time. I don't know when the next step up is in percentage in the polls, but I kind of agree with you. We know who the top 3 are. So even if it shakes out to the top 5 or 6, because let's say, somebody drops out or whatever, something happens or there's a big movement. Although I think if I look at the overall course of the race, it's Warren who's, I kind of thought Harris would do what Warren is doing now. And I gotta tip my cap to her. She grinds. The woman fucking grinds. And it's paying off. And she's got that sort of momentum. We know what
she grinds. It's young, fit, buff, former Navy SEALs, whoever the fuck he was.
Hashtag lime green dildos. And
exactly.
The other thing
Welcome to the lime green dildo cast.
As we pointed out in a previous happy hour, she is...
Well, to mix our jokes, previously on the lime green dildo cast.
Yes, yeah. That was your name. That was your name for it.
That's the official name now. We're changing it from Happy Hour to Lime Green Dildo Cast.
Yes.
Official.
On your channel.
It would be on my channel, yeah. It would be less inaccurate than Happy and Hour.
That's true. That's true.
To be honest.
You can have a subtitle. The Happy Hour or Kristi and Krebs Happy Hour. Hashtag Lime Green Dildo Comcast or Lime. What was it again? The
Lime Green Dildo Cast.
Yes, that was it. Yeah. So,
anyway, so back to the actually important issues of voter demographics and things.
The polls that I see show that people's Biden's number 2 choice is Warren and Sanders' number 2 choice is Warren. So she seems like she's almost in some ways a consensus candidate for the left, which might be exactly what we need after 2016. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. Only time will tell.
Indeed.
It would be really nice if we could get a candidate that unifies both Clinton and Sanders voters.
I don't think that's possible.
Warren is that candidate. That's what's happened. I mean, most people who voted for Clinton are supporting either Biden or Harris, and people who supported Sanders are supporting Sanders or Warren from 2016.
Well, no, I'm not saying that they won't vote for her, but the idea of them being united is...
Well, at least I'm talking about we can...
You're asking for a little too much.
In terms of having a candidate we agree on.
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
And putting things behind us when the candidate is selected, So that's good if it's drawing on both parts of that last very divisive fight. Mm-hmm. That's my opinion anyway. Also, this is very interesting. I mean, not surprising, but it's huge. It's huge. That's what she said. Right. Trump approval rating by gender.
Hang on.
You want to see that?
Down to the cat.
All right. Okay.
I want to see the cat.
This is what I also. So mistakes were made.
Oh, bless him.
Yeah, I'll start from the beginning. There we go.
Oh.
dangling.
I
He
know
doesn't
the
look
fact
too
is,
stressed.
it's basically accepted its fate at this
Yeah,
point.
his tail is just like,
no,
I
I'm
meant to
a
do this.
window blind cat from now on.
I totally meant to do this. I wanted to know if it would work as a hammock. Doesn't work as a hammock.
No, that's yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
human. Let's sort this situation out, shall we?
So
How did cats survive? How have they gotten to this point?
well, by
I
having
mean, I think
lots
that
of
about
offspring.
humans as well, but we've got opposable thumbs, so that works.
Gives us
Whereas
an
cats
advantage.
haven't
So Trump's approval rating by
yet.
gender via the new Quinnipiac poll. Well, yesterday's Quinnipiac poll. Men approval.
Name yourself something less weird than Quinnipiac.
Lake Waganaki. Oh, less weird.
That would be less weird. Less weird.
Toblerone.
Dave Bowling.
Dave Polling? Oh, I see. Quinnipiac. Yes. I think is it Massachusetts? I don't know where that's based. Anyway, men's approval rating of Trump, 48%. Men's disapproval, 46%. Women approval, 35%. Disapproval, 61%.
Which shows that women are cocks.
Wait, what? How are women?
I don't know, because apparently if you're against Trump, that
okay,
makes
you're
you a cock or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't make the rules. The internet does.
I mean, if you just held that constant across every single state, just that stat across every single state, whoever ran against Trump would win a landslide with that breakdown, because women live longer, we're more likely to vote as a group, and as you can see, that split. Oh my God, that split. I mean, that's the Electoral College sweep right there. If you only had one variable and you held it constant everywhere, which of course is not how the real world works.
And also, that's not a variable if it's held constant.
Well, I mean, that particular aggregate is a descriptor. Well, okay, yeah, I'm going to say. I know what you mean. Getting me screwed up.
Yes, I out political science, yeah. No. Because you said a thing that was ever so slightly not worded perfectly.
Yes,
and therefore
that was it.
I win. Therefore, the man wins over the worms.
There you go. That's how you do it. Yes. Victory. Trump has made 13,435 false or misleading claims over 993 days. That we know about. I'd
be surprised if this is few. Yeah, that seems like a low estimate, to be honest.
Yeah.
But okay.
All right, I think we're starting to scrape.
One thing I missed actually in the press conference, the crazy press conference with the Finnish leader. He described talking to the head of NATO, Solberg. His name's Stoltenberg.
Oh God.
That I just thought that sums him up. He's got a rough idea. Like, he probably did talk to him. Doesn't know who he is. They could have just put on random Danish man and said he was him, and he'd have gone, yeah, okay, whatever. Like, he'd have just gone with it.
All right, I have to get rid of this tweet. I bookmarked it for the quote, but so whoever's calling him an American hero, why the fuck did I retweet that? Hold on, I gotta not.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Who's an American hero?
Yeah, I just realized.
John Bolt?
Yeah, I'm
Who's near a tandem? Hang on. Whoa. Who's near a tandem?
Let's find out.
This fucking idiot. Who is she? I'm going to say she. She's progressive? Feminist, wife, mom. Yeah, go away. Just go away. You're an Egypt.
What she says is the whistleblower. Okay, not John Bolton.
Okay,
the whistleblower is an American hero.
I thought she was saying yes.
Okay, that's okay.
Well, I'm still not entirely sure that's correct in some respects, because we don't know who this person is. They could be an awful person besides this. Who knows?
But yes, misread that. Phew, okay, glad we took the time to reread it. Don't want to malign the poor lady.
Yes, Nira, you're not as idiotic as you once appeared to be. But again, I don't know you beside that one tweet, so you could be here besides. I don't know.
Well,
Okay. You're an open book to me. I know nothing about you. Up until 5 minutes ago, I didn't know of your existence. There we go.
A closed book. You said an open book.
No, an open book.
You can read an open book.
As in, I need exactly, yeah. So I now know that this person exists, so they're an open book. I can choose to read it or not read it.
I thought you was like she was a closed book because you didn't know her.
Okay, or the phrase "you're an open book" is not an Americanism. Okay,
No.
we get it.
No.
Jesus.
I don't know these words in that order.
Yeah. Okay.
The rest of it was Elizabeth Warren trolling Facebook, and we did that in the last show. But look at all the stuff that we went through since the last show.
Yeah.
That was 48 hours ago or something ridiculously.
We didn't
short
even,
like that.
other than the fake cease and desist letter, we didn't even get on to Kamala Harris supposedly getting some massive cock as well.
No, that really got.
Jacob Wall never stops.
Liz got all of the first. She got the first round, so you know. She got all the good stuff.
Exactly.
It was tired afterwards.
Elizabeth Warren sloppy
Seconds. No. You'd already done that
Brilliant.
once. Yeah, unimpressive.
Yeah.
That's just as
Exactly.
unimpressive as when you're told to bring sex toys and you bring a massager. Hitachi.
Exactly.
Not Hibachi.
Basic.
Basic bitch massage vibrator.
Exactly. Don't be bringing me your fucking horse shit.
Oh, yeah, so Orion Cooper didn't know that Wall did try to do the same thing on Harris. Yes, apparently. Kevin will regale you, I'm sure, with the...
Yeah, basically tried to pull the exact same trick because he's just... I don't even know what he thinks he's doing anymore. I genuinely don't know. Like, does he think anyone believes it? Anyway,
But
tried to
this
pull the
time-
same thing.
Yeah, with a
Then
trainer.
they sent yeah, with a personal trainer person. Who cares? It's the same
bullshit.
basic shtick. Which obviously isn't true remotely. Otherwise, actual like news reporters
would
have
covered
been on
it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, rather than the story is Jacob Wall is an idiot, which is like a regular internet staple at this point. Anyway, and they sent a fake person who was an actor to issue a cease and desist letter on behalf of Kamala Harris.
During the middle of it.
But during the middle of it, even though that again is sort of libelous because she literally doesn't even know who these people are, understandably. And you don't have to physically issue a cease and desist letter to the person like via fucking dispatch carrier.
Yeah, it's
or
not like
something.
being
It's ridiculous.
served.
Yeah, exactly. It's fucking ridiculous. And everyone was like, that's obviously fake. What are you doing? And, yeah, it was found out that this dude's like an actor.
Of course he
they
is.
paid to do. Yeah, of course he is. Yeah. Idiots. They're the worst. They're the worst. They're the worst. But yet somehow they're not starving or homeless. So clearly it's working on some level for them. The grift is working.
What's
I don't know how.
Did they have... What I want to know is, did they get the same security guy who wouldn't do shit for him last time? Or did they get a
Yeah,
different
exactly.
one?
Yeah. Like, remove this guy. And he's just like, no. Oh, you're paying me minimum wage. I'm not removing people, you cunt.
If
Go
they come up
away.
here, I'll deal with them. I'm not going into the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. Like if someone walks up the steps, that's fine. But I'm not physically removing people, especially because I mean, what are you expected to do? Remove them from the sidewalk, or that's public land, or whatever. Like they've got a right to be there.
It's not your
They're
living room.
menacing.
You didn't invite them into your
Exactly.
house. It's a front
Yeah, if they step onto your driveway, you might have a case, but it's not. So go the fuck away. I can't believe I'm taking this job anyway. But you know.
Oh, and the irony of, or not even the irony, just the depth of stupidity for people who think that they are presenting themselves to the world as sort of investigators who have uncovered this evidence, who then hire actors and think, yeah, these reporters, they'll never check this stuff out. These people we've invited won't ask questions or get a picture of the person and find out they're an actor by doing a face reverse find on the internet.
Yeah. And not just that, but presumably an actor from like the DC area, so probably known to a lot of people. Like not necessarily famous, but like if you're in the media, you've probably met some people, and you're like, "Oh, you're right, Dave. Yeah, what are you up to? I'm delivering this thing." You know,
Dave.
It's not. Yeah, Dave, the actor Dave. His name's Dave Reynolds. I don't know. I totally made that up. Yeah. So it's Jacob Wall and his fucking ringmaster. Shit is the basic point, but funny. But we have so much has happened, we haven't even been able to get to it. So, but they'll have accused every fucking female member of Congress or the Senate or anything of getting massive amounts of cock, as if that's like an insult somehow. Okay.
Yeah, it really kind of backfires, because if they're hoping to turn off progressives with this, like these women are hanging out and keeping up with and, going back for more with young studs.
Well, not just that, but going on about this, that was the amazing thing. they were talking about Elizabeth Warren, who's like 60 or whatever, engaging in violent sex that was so violent that it shocked this ex-Marine guy.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, he hadn't seen like combat, or so he hadn't been posted anyway, but like he was aware of like the gruesomeness of, you know, potential violence. Like he'd fired guns and shit. So, and he was shocked by the violence of all of this. If she's that old and can keep up with an ex-Marine giving violent sex that much, make her president. She's clearly like some sort of superhuman with an adamantium skeleton or something. I don't know. Like, yeah, she's cool, man. She's passed the physical fitness test, no doubt about it.
The doctors will report she has a very healthy heart.
Yeah, she's a very healthy heart.
A lot of cardio.
Bones made of fucking steel. And a pussy that can take a lot of very rough dick. Okay,
Well,
cool. I mean, that's not a prerequisite for a president, but it's a nice bonus.
Yeah,
I suppose.
you got those bragging rights then.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I'm an alpha female.
like Trump, of course, has
My
affairs
pussy-
because he's
even
an
at
alpha.
70, my pussy is gold. Okay,
Go
there's some good
pussy.
mix going on. Yeah, don't bring your fucking massager. Don't bring a massager to a sex fight. Okay, you'll lose.
All right, and on that, that's what Liz says. Bombshell. Do you have anything coming up? Anything on your channel soon?
On my channel.
Oh yeah, on your
stuff
channel.
will be happening. Yeah, there'll be Brexit shite because the deal that might happen might not happen, and the Super Saturday sitting
yes.
might not happen because there might not be a deal, and if there's not a deal to vote on, then there might be a second referendum forced onto the docket by the opposition MPs, and the government might well lose that as well because they still, every day that passes, they're setting a new record, breaking their old previous record from the previous day of being a government that still hasn't won a vote in Commons. Not one. Ever.
I know that it's a terrible situation, but that historically is so funny. Just like in the history.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. A government has never gone this. I mean, a government has never gone one day really without winning some vote in Parliament, because usually a new government has like some ability to fucking govern. That's what a new government tends to be able to do. But even so, they're going this long without winning anything.
Well, like they're passing
so
bills.
Embarrassing.
So, like they're passing bills. So, what would you call winning? It's on policy issues related to Brexit, right?
No. In votes, actual votes in the Commons. They're not passing bills. They haven't passed a single bill.
Right.
The Commons have passed bills. They've passed the Ben Act, which wasn't a government bill. They passed amendments to the was it Sexual whatever Violence Act or whatever, in lieu of the rape thing, which will be introduced basically by whichever government comes back, because that's the basic deal they've cut with Jess Phillips. That whichever government comes after the general election will reintroduce that.
Okay.
And it'll be beefed up because it'll be a government bill rather than a private member's bill, and it'll get passed because there's no one who's like, well, outside of UKIP, there's no one who's pro-rape. So it's not gonna, there'll be no opposition to that, or no serious opposition. There might be some slight amendments possibly because that's good lawmaking. That's fine.
Yeah.
So that'll be happening. But the government haven't passed anything. The government have lost every single vote that they brought in Parliament.
Amazing.
Which is really, 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 really embarrassing. They're a shambles. I mean, it doesn't help when you throw away your own majority live on TV. That's not great.
No, not tactically. If you want to win,
it doesn't help.
Policy votes.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. You're going to disagree with me on one thing, you're all out of here.
Yeah. And not just that, but they might well lose the Queen's Speech vote as well, which would be the first time since 1924. So nearly a century.
Yeah, getting on.
Yeah.
Well.
Which considering some of the weak-ass governments that have existed since then, that would be pretty embarrassing. Now, usually that would precipitate a general election because the government would fall. But because of the Fixed Term Parliament Act, which has to be one of the most ill-conceived pieces of legislation ever, albeit that the ramifications aren't that serious, but whatever, that doesn't necessarily mean that because you still need 2/3 in Parliament, which is wank. Well, there we go. It is what it is.
Yeah, it's a law now, and it'll be changed in the next parliament.
Oh God, yeah. It needs to be either repealed or very, very heavily amended.
Yeah, like drop it down to
Because it's a
55. Drop it down to
The current
55% or something.
Well, no, just drop it to 50+1, like every other bill that we've ever
Yeah.
had.
Yeah.
Like, the two-thirds thing is such an un-British thing to do. Oh, someone mentions Chope. Yeah, Christopher Chope might not necessarily like the rape bill, or what is it called, the domestic violence bill or whatever. But it doesn't matter because it'd be a government bill, so he literally can't filibuster or shout it down. So it doesn't matter. He can be as offended and pro-rape as he likes. He won't stop it. Assuming he gets re-elected, which I don't know what his seat is, and I don't care.
Yeah. Oh, by the way,
Anyway.
I did see one time, one of our happy hours, we had so many lately, I can't remember which one it was. Someone in the chat mentioned Candace Owens saying the word coop.
Yeah.
I saw the video. It
Did it
exists. It happened.
Oh, we need to show it next
So,
time then.
yeah,
Definitely.
it was on Dusty Smith. Dusty had a rip-roaring show last week. He was just doing thing after thing after thing, and one of them was he got up the clip of Candace Owen, and she actually said it coop. She actually said coop.
I think she might be a fucking idiot. I don't know about you.
I'm pretty sure she is.
Yeah. I get the impression she might not be the smartest cookie.
Yeah, getting facts on American slavery wrong and praising Hitler and saying coop. She's not a political science grad. I can tell you that.
No, or a person that should be listened to about anything.
Why she was in front of Congress just shows the influence of, conservative old white dudes who want to keep white supremacy.
Well, yeah, exactly, and hashtag not your shield. She's literally their shield.
She is their shield.
She's literally like, we can't be racist. Look, she's a WOMS and she's black. Therefore, we're perfectly fine.
We're covered on two.
Women. Yeah. Now, other black people and women who don't agree with us, shut up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your opinions are invalid. Just hers count. Her opinion cancels out y'all's.
The y'all's, please. God damn it, America. So we want to like America, but you make it difficult.
That is I like y'all. It's also it's genderless, unlike guys. So instead of hey guys, hey y'all, or even better, hey y'all.
Hey penis bearers.
No? I'll give you a y'all's pass, Kevin. I'm an American. I can give you a y'all pass. No, and that's not
I don't want one. I don't fucking want one.
Well,
I feel I can't help but feel that you think that's a compliment. I say it is an insult.
I'm just saying, one day you're going to be yawling because you're going to realize how gendered saying guys is.
Well, I do say y'all as like a sarcastic thing, like a kind of funny, silly thing, but I would never say it in reality because that would. Oh, I think I'd have my passport revoked, and I couldn't argue. I couldn't. I wouldn't have a leg to stand on.
Oh, you know what? That reminds me. I was gonna. I think I shared your video last night.
You were going to revoke your U.S. citizenship.
No. It reminded me of something you said in the show the other night. It was when you were doing your show and you were mocking Boris Johnson because he said something Bannonish like Britain is the best country in the world. And then you had said immediately to him in response, you quoting him, you're like, when the fuck did that happen? And I was like, this is the difference between the British and the Americans. When your prime minister says, we have the greatest country in the world, and you all side-eyed him, and like, when the fuck did that happen? I don't remember that news story. I don't remember that day.
Yeah, Jesus, that's interesting. That's a development.
And then you compare that with a Trump rally.
Sure about that. Yeah, exactly, because have you ever been to Britain? It's like
I will say
we've not the last few years especially we are not putting our best foot forward.
Transport.
Come on.
Oh my God, the trains and oh God, yeah, it's been.
And that's look. I'm not. At no point would I say it's a shithole because it's not. The standard of living's very good. I mean, there are a lot worse you could have ended up with In terms of the lottery of
Oh,
life,
yeah.
you've not done badly at all.
Oh, there's
But the idea
lovely.
that we're the greatest country in the world, don't fuck off with your exceptionalism shit. We're not. And that's fine. You can be just a good place. That's reasonable.
No,
But to say you're the
yeah.
best, hey, it's insulting as well, because we're good at some stuff, but we're shit at other stuff. So don't shit on other countries. It's chauvinistic nonsense. Don't do it.
Yeah. Like, I love going to the UK. I get over there as often as I can. And, you know, I know how to make a proper cup of tea. And I love beans for breakfast. And I also love going into old churches and taking pictures of
Yes, you are.
cathedrals.
And
Right.
and that's the
And
fact
then-
that she says she likes beans for breakfast. I don't think they even ask her for an American passport at the border.
No,
They're just like,
no.
yeah, that checks out.
And, yeah.
That food liking is cashing checks that your American citizenship
And,
is
and,
right.
and the tomatoes, but not the mushrooms. Yeah, hold on.
And the fact that you can't pronounce McVitie's properly.
Mc-
American. Yeah,
McTitties. McTitties. But
McTitties.
that being said, sorry, all those lovely things about Britain being said, at least once a day, I just experience something and I say to myself, this fucking country.
Yeah. Oh, there's not a single person in the country that doesn't have that. It's like, oh, fucking hell, Britain, man. What are you doing? This is
Yes.
shit.
Like, what? I was actually like waiting to get a connection in Chelmsford, right? And there was the...
Well, there's your first problem.
Yeah.
Being in Chelmsford.
Right? So I'm at Chelmsford. I walk from the train station to the bus stop, get to my stand. Let's say it's stand 5. There's a bus in front of stand 5. People are boarding the bus. And then I see the the Stansted connection bus roll into the bus stop. And he pulls up not into the stand, but a little bit behind it, but far enough away that's like, it's a different stand. Like, he's not close. He's not behind the bus. He's like at a different stand. And then this guy is still loading the bus, and my fucking connection bus, empty as a motherfucker, takes off. Just leaves.
The exacerbation in your voice there. Takes off. Oh,
Just
fuck.
left.
Yeah.
You motherfucker. And I tried to chase him across the parking lot, and he didn't see me. And and then it was like, this fucking country.
And then you have to
fucking
do the
bus
walk
drivers.
of shame back to the bus stop and pretend like you didn't just run after a bus.
Yeah. Well, I don't care about that because I was so pissed and I'm American. I don't have that sort of self-awareness. But
Yeah, everyone was like, oh, she's American. Okay,
yeah, they
fair
were
enough.
embarrassed for me. But yeah, so I was not pleased, not best pleased in that moment.
Yeah, that happens. I had one today. A
No
little
sympathy.
one.
You're like, yeah,
Little one.
that happens. You're so tough, Kevin. I live with perfect German transport that like is hardly a minute late.
That works.
and
That actually works.
I,
yeah.
for the first time in over a year, had to just stop randomly once this year. Can you believe that? On German transport. They just stopped and we had to wait for like 3 minutes before it moved again.
Oh, that's
I'm
outrageous.
I'm actually not kidding about this. Our transport is so gorgeous here. I love it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
In general, they are. The tram, whenever I've gone to different places in Europe, I went to Prague, the trams are amazing.
Yeah.
You just get on them. It costs nothing, basically, like
Yeah.
a penny. And then you get on there and it drops you off at the thing and it runs all night and it's perfect.
Hey,
You think,
hey.
this is amazing.
You know, to go underground, we have escalators that go up and down.
What do you mean?
I mean, the same escalator goes in both directions.
Well,
and
that's
then
madness.
when
Why'd
it's
you
not
need that?
and it's not in use, it turns itself off.
That's ridiculous and brilliant.
Fucking Germans, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, energy saving, and also if, you know, like someone is at the top and needs to come down, they can. If someone at the bottom needs to go up, it's fine.
Well, to be fair, ours save energy as well because they often break. So, and they're just
Or
very expensive
they
stairs.
don't exist. Or they don't exist. They're just very
It's just broken,
static.
but they still work as stairs. So you have to walk up and down the stairs,
Yes.
which they could have just built some fucking stairs for a lot cheaper.
Yeah, but
But,
at Holborn,
you know,
there's fucking
whatever.
nothing when it comes. You got to haul your suitcases from when you land at Heathrow and you come in and you change at Holborn from the blue line, whatever it is, over to the red line, and there's no escalators. It's all fucking stairs. It's terrible.
Yeah, just got to go up some stairs. So, I mean, yeah, if you're disabled, you're done.
Oh, you don't get around
You're
London.
basically stuck on a train platform forever.
Get a
unless
taxi.
Some very nice person has to carry you up some flight of stairs.
I don't
and
know.
all of you are going, Britain's a bit shit, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know
it
what's
is.
going to happen in another 20 years when the boomers are just. Were they not going to use the underground? It's ridiculous.
Basically. Yeah.
Or you could get government
that's basically
in
what's going to happen.
that would do a massive, like, billions of pounds worth of investment in updating, modernizing, and making green British transport. That could also happen.
That could happen, and I hope that does happen. But again, Britain's a bit shit, so it probably won't.
All right. And
what will happen is they'll try and get some private companies to do it. It'll be shit and it'll break, because that's what always happens.
Yes. Well, no, you need to bring in some Europeans who can do the job for you.
Yeah. Which,
you need to bring in some immigrants.
It's almost as if we're going in exactly the opposite direction right now from that, which is great.
Yeah,
that's fantastic.
Like kicking them all out.
We would bring some Europeans in, but unfortunately, we literally can't because we're now a walled-up hellhole.
Oh, I am Rosso says that the Bahnhof and Hauptbahnhofs of many southern German cities are shit. And also that sticking the tongue out was, who was it? Who was telling me to say Holborn again? Tony? Someone was like, say Holborn again, Kristi. Yeah, Tony, say Holborn again. Fuck off. I don't know. Holborn.
Holborn.
I did it okay.
I think she's basically correct, yeah.
No, yeah.
I don't think that was wrong, was it?
Maybe they just like my dulcet tones.
But very possibly. I know a lot of Australians get annoyed with Americans because it's Melbourne, not Melbourne.
Oh.
It's Melbourne.
Well, yeah, ask Americans to pronounce Edinburgh just by reading it out.
Well, ask them to fucking pronounce Notre Dame properly, dickhead.
That is, because I took French. That is painful to my ears to this day. And no, you
Notre
don't.
Dame.
Oh,
fuck off.
God.
Fuck off now and keep fucking
really?
off.
And he doesn't even like the French.
Go fighting Irish.
Yeah.
I'll just shout out there.
You don't even like the French.
I don't, but if you're going to do French, do it properly.
There you go. München. Sorry.
Tim Minchin.
No, München. Or in...
München.
München. I can do an umlaute kind of U sound. Getting better at that.
No, it's Munich.
This is basically off-air talk at this point. We're just talking shit.
This is drivel. Yeah. This is absolute
and
shite.
People are just sitting here listening to us talk shit. Like the show ended
Duke.
like 10
Duke
minutes
is
ago.
Another one.
Who's
Duke?
Duke sucks.
Yeah. No, it's Duke.
No, Duke, not Duke. He's not an Earl and a Duke. It's Duke. Dookie.
Yeah, but that's wrong.
No, I like the way you guys
incorrect.
do use. No, I prefer Tuna and Tuesday and Duke to Duke.
Yeah,
for myself.
Ugh. Anyway, go Blue Devils. These are just things I know. I have no allegiance to any of them, but that'll do. Yeah.
Oh, see now, Mariana is cringing at the way I'm saying München. Currently, I'm going to get it. Talk to Kevin first.
Yeah, I'm much worse. But to be fair, I don't live here and I don't care to pronounce it correctly. So
now that's
the difference. No, I try, but I fail because I'm English. That's the thing.
That's not an excuse.
Speaking English is you can go to like a little village in fucking Outer Mongolia and there'll be someone else speak English. So what's the point in trying to be culturally sensitive and learn how to speak other things?
Yes,
there's no point.
Basically, the whole world made you lazy. Everybody's effort, you're free riding on their work. So why should you learn a language if they already speak yours?
Exactly, yeah. What's the point? You're just doubling the effort. If they've already put the effort in, what's the point?
And they're better at it, probably. You know, speaking English than you are speaking their language.
I've tried to learn French at school, and I mainly fell asleep.
What time did you have French class?
At various times, and it was so boring, I just fell asleep. I used to fall asleep a lot in that class.
If it would have been about
not so much
football and
not so
sports.
much in English, because my English teacher had cracking tits, and I was 14. So that's that's a combination that keeps a man awake.
That's
or a boy awake.
Is that why you're so obsessed with the comma?
Yeah, exactly. I learned stuff in that class. That's how I know these things, because I was awake for that shit. Oh, there you go. But I assure you, every other boy in the class learned some stuff that year too. Absolutely.
And all of the girls who found her interesting as well.
No, the lesbians don't exist.
Yes. It's a myth.
It's fake
Like-
news
like the
made up
G-spot.
by George Soros.
They
like
did-
the G-spot, like the female orgasm.
and
fake.
yes, all of it fake. Lesbians, the G-spot, and the female orgasm, all fake.
Are fake. I mean, if I hadn't seen a vagina for myself, I would think that was fake too. It doesn't sound real.
What pictures were you looking at again?
There was a picture of a crack in a wall.
That was your vagina picture?
That was my vagina picture. Yeah. Anatomically correct.
Okay, this has descended into such silliness
This
now.
is broadcasting. What the fuck are we doing? Oh, God. Anyway.
Well, thank you guys for sticking around. This was utter nonsense. You're just gluttons for
Yeah.
punishment at this point. But
Yeah, this is on you. If you're still listening, this is your fault.
yes. Thank you to my co-host Kevin, who might have stuff going on in his channel. Probably, in all honesty, we'll have to do another happy hour in the next 3 days. So it'll probably be at your.
Almost. Yes. Yeah.
All right. So what? I just got distracted by the goat saying, "For fuck's sake, Kevin, don't try to shag it." I didn't know what that was about.
Goat legs. That's a callback to an hour and a half ago.
Oh, okay. That was it. All right, got it. Okay. And on that bombshell, I've been Kristi. You guys have been awesome. Goodbye from me, and
No, you
goodbye
haven't.
from Goat
No, you
Legs.
fucking haven't. Shut up.
Say goodbye, Goat Legs.
Goodbye, Goat Legs. That'd be a great name for like an album. Goodbye, Goat Legs.
I'm meaning goodbye. Bye.